Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name's Kevin Vogel. I'll be your host today for our mobile device management comparison between what you get with Office 365, what Intune brings to the game, and then the newest entry, Enterprise Mobile Mobility Suite, which really ups the game for Microsoft when you're talking about mobile device management. We're lucky enough today to have Jason Milgram with us. He's the Director of Software Development for MessageOps. Jason, how are you today?
I'm good, Kevin. How about you?
Good, good. Jason is one of 13 Azure MVPs for Microsoft, so he's going to bring a lot of value to this webinar today. Just a little housekeeping. You'll see that there's a chat section over on your dashboard for the Go to My webinar. If you want to ask questions during the webinar or at the end of the webinar, we're going to be watching that chat box, and we'll try to answer the questions as we go through the webinar today. Please, anything that we don't cover or that you have more questions about, please feel free to just, put a question in there for us. Now, first of all, I wanted to give you just a little bit of history on who Champion and MessageOps are when it comes to Office 365, the cloud, and now mobile device management. And I will tell you, I talk to customers every day, and security is top of mind for everyone. And I will tell you, mobile device management is a topic that no matter who you talk to, everyone is trying to find the right solution to be able to help them manage these devices that aren't corporately owned, whether they're iPhones or Androids or Windows phones or tablets of any type. Well, Champion and MessageOps, first of all, we've moved over 1.7 million users into the Microsoft cloud. And you can see that that's over 7,000 different companies. So we've been doing this for a long time. We've won some awards from Microsoft and other companies. As you can see, we're the 2014 Azure Partner of the Year. We've been the Regional Cloud Partner of the Year for Microsoft for the last 4 years. So you can see that we have a real good heritage around Microsoft, the cloud, and what's available to you up there. And we're also an infrastructure partner, so other companies that think we do a pretty good job, we have a few awards here. I have 3 poll questions that I'm going to be asking you today, and they're real quick. They'll only take, a couple of minutes. And what I ask you to do is if you can just quickly answer these poll questions, it will help us make sure that we have the content that you're looking for and make sure that, we're adding any value we can to this webinar. So I'm just going to let everybody answer here for a second, and then we'll go to our second one. I'm just going to let it go over 80%. We're at 70% right now. And there we are. Okay, so let's close that poll. Let's go to the next one. Hold on one second. And again, just real quick, it's only take us a minute on each one of these. And thanks again for your answers. Here's our last poll question. All right. So thank you very much for your answers. Okay, hold on. I got to turn this off. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to be turning this over to Jason. Jason, it's all yours.
All right. Let me show my screen. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining us today to go over what are the differences between Office 365, mobile device management, Intune, and EMS. So, why is all this important? And it really comes down to you've got users. You've got them in your office. You've got them in satellite offices. You've got users working remotely. You've got people contracted working for you. And they're using all kinds of devices. I mean, a device is, it's a smartphone, it's a tablet, it's a laptop, it's a PC. And they're accessing all kinds of applications and all kinds of data. And that's a big challenge for corporate IT. What to do, how to manage it, how to make sure information and devices are being used correctly. So this is kind of like a base summary slide. And I think when people think of mobile device management, this is the first thing they think of. I have a device, again, it can be a phone, a tablet, or a PC, and I have personal data and apps on it. And the company, through mobile device management, can create a secure partition on that device with company apps and data. And if that device is lost or stolen, a remote wipe can be done, which essentially sets it back to the factory reset. Or in the case where someone leaves the organization, they go to a new employer or they retire, a selective wipe can be done, and it just removes the company information. And this is possible with all three of the MDMs that we're going to be looking at. But MDM does a lot more than just that. So Office 365 Intune Enterprise Mobility Suite. We're going to compare them by looking at the cost of each. We're going to look at the devices that you can manage with them, the key capabilities, and we're also going to go to some live demos. But what I want you to do is think about these different MDMs in this way. Office 365 MDM, it comes as part of your Office 365 solution. And it's a great set of key capabilities, and it's entry level. If you find that your organization needs more controls and more capabilities, then you would want to look at Intune. And then depending on what your mobility, security, and management needs are, you might actually want to move toward EMS, Enterprise Mobility Suite, which is the advanced version. And we'll look at all three of these.
So Jason, that means that anyone today, and I will tell you a very large percentage of our audience answered yes to the question, are you on Office 365? That means that they all have it right now already?
Correct. Mobile device management is part of your Office 365 subscription if you have a business or enterprise subscription. And you're right, I think a lot of people don't know that. So we're actually going to go, I'm going to show you right where it is and how to enable it and the different things you can do. All right, so first in our comparison model, again, Office 365 MDM, it comes part of your subscription, so there's no additional cost. It works with iOS, which is both iPhone and iPad. It works with Android, which can be smartphones or tablets, and it works with Windows Phone. Now, it has, again, a number of key capabilities which are great to have. They deal with security encryption and if a device is jailbroken. And those you can make decisions on if they're allowed to be part of your mobile device management network.
So Jason, for us that aren't real technical, is root and jailbroken, is that the same thing if they root a device or if they jailbreak a device? Is that the same thing?
Right, absolutely. Jailbroken and rooted devices are the same thing. One applies to iOS and the other to Android. And you can determine once they're enrolled if they have been jailbroken or rooted, which means people have created unauthorized way to access the device, and you can then prevent them from being part of your MDM network.
So one other question. I notice you have tablets up here besides phones. So this MDM solution not only works for our mobile phones, but also the tablets that people might be using for work?
Correct.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great set of key capabilities. And again, this is the entry level. So you're going to see a lot more capabilities as we walk into the other solution. But depending on what you have, this might be perfect for you. Now, I have this one table here, and we're going to go look at it live. But I wanted to put this table here because sometimes it's a little small when we go live, where we can set some of these. But you can, you can require a password. You can set a minimum length for a password. You can have minutes of inactivity boot before devices locked, and things like that. So again, out of the box, a great set of capabilities that just come with your subscription. All right, so let me jump over to the demo. And all right, so I'm set up on a test account that I have. I'm in Office 365 in the admin section. And if you haven't been there already, see mobile devices in the left-hand horizontal navigation? You click on that. Now, if you haven't been there before, you're not going to see this full screen. You're going to see, something that says this is not set up yet. Click here to activate. Once you do that, it's going to then say, okay, we're getting this ready. It could take several hours. Now, when I activated this test account, I think it was ready in about 20 minutes.
But there's no charge for them to activate it, correct?
Correct. No charge. Part of your business and enterprise Office 365 accounts. So I click on Manage Device Security Policies and Access Rules, and it takes me to the Compliance Center for Device Management. And here I can create policies. And when you create a policy, you can set up a series of what they call configuration and compliance settings. And then you can choose who they apply to in your organization. So you could have a variety of policies set up. So I just want to walk you through that process. And I'm going to make this box a little bit bigger. I'm going to call this my MDM demo for demo. So I'm giving a name and a description. And here are my capabilities. Again, require a password, prevent simple passwords, minimum password length. Here's the prevent jailbroken or rooted devices from connecting. And I choose what I want. And here I can, if you can see this in the bottom, if a device doesn't meet the requirements above, then allow access and report the violation, or block access and report violation. So you can say, yes, go ahead and enroll your device, but we're going to get a notification about what is not in compliance. Or you can just say, nope, you're not allowed to enroll, and we're going to get a report because we want to resolve those issues before you enroll. So you can choose how you need to handle that in your organization. So after I choose my security policy settings, I go next. And I have some additional configuration options. Require encrypted backup, block screen capture, and block Bluetooth connections, more options. So again, as you can see, these are some really nice key capabilities for you that come right out of the box. And lastly, do you want to apply this policy now? And I can select one or more security groups that have the people that I want to apply this policy to, or I can say, save this policy, I'm going to have it implemented later. So you don't have to implement it as soon as you create it. And you click next, it does a review of everything you selected, and finish.
So Jason, is this like the people that have the ability to install Office on there, where they can do 5 different devices? Is there a number of devices that can be protected per user?
Right, great question. So the rule is that a user can have up to 5 devices associated with them. And so that could be, let's say, a smartphone and a tablet. And as the feature set evolves, that could get extended. Actually, there's some very exciting developments with Windows 10 and mobile device management, which I think we'll be presenting in an upcoming webinar.
Okay, thanks.
So those are some of the great key capabilities that come right out of the box. All right, so Intune. This is where you've decided that your organization requires some more robust feature sets for compliance and configuration requirements for devices. And that's where Intune comes in. It's $6 a month per user, and it does provide quite a bit more functionality. So some of the examples are you can automatically provision Wi-Fi and VPN profiles to your users. So if you have people going in and out of different satellite offices, they could have the VPN and Wi-Fi profiles already set up for those different locations. You can enroll and manage collections of corporate-owned devices, and you can also manage PCs. Now, little caveat there. With Intune, you can manage Windows PCs. You do have the option of tying Intune with your existing System Center configuration manager. And if you do that, you can expand beyond just PCs, but you can also include Macs, Linux, and Unix servers. But if you're using Intune standalone, you get all the mobile devices that you got with the Office 365 MDM, but you also get PCs and a lot of really great features around PC management.
So Jason, just let me make sure I understand what you just said. So for those customers that have System Center already enabled and running on-premise, because obviously it has to be on-premise, they can use Intune in the cloud, and still use System Center to be their one place to go for all of their configuration and management.
Yeah, absolutely. And they call that a hybrid setup of Intune, where Intune becomes an additional extension of your System Center, and it gives your System Center the ability to manage iOS, Android, Windows Phone, and it adds a couple of additional capabilities. So, a lot of mid-sized and enterprise companies already have System Center. You can keep on using that same familiar interface by doing a connector between Intune and System Center.
Ah.
But Intune by itself, without System Center, is still a great, highly functional product with a lot of options for you. So again, it comes down to what you need in your organization. Now, there's a little bit more you can do, which includes deploying line of business apps, both in the public app stores and into your own company portal store. And those are apps that you've developed internally inside your organization. You can also start controlling certain feature sets in applications like Word, Excel, Outlook. You can put almost role-level restrictions about copying, cutting, and pasting, and save as, and things like that for those apps. Now, there's also something called the app wrapping tool. So if you have line of business applications, things that you've developed internally, and you want to create some additional controls around them, what people can and can't do, and you can base it on the user or people in different AD, Active Directory groups, but you can actually start putting kind of role-based limitations of functionality in those apps. Now, there's also the Intune managed browser. There's a PDF viewer and AV player and image viewer where you can also put some of those same limitations in place. And with the managed browser, you can actually have kind of a whitelist and blacklist of websites as well. But, I think the best way is really kind of just to see the product. So we're going to jump back out of PowerPoint. And let's go right to Intune. So I'm going to refresh, make sure my session didn't time out. Nope, it did. All right. Now, Intune has two different portals. You have the admin portal, which we're in right now, and then you also have the admin console, which if you look in the account portal, you can see the admin console link right here. Now, the account portal is where you can review your users, you can create security groups, you can register your domains, you can check licenses and things like that. The real work of the system goes on in the admin console, and you have this great dashboard here, but I'm going to jump right to policies because that's one of the key parts. And we're just re-authenticating here too.
Now you can have more than
there
one.
Are a lot.
You can have more than one administrator, right, Jason?
Absolutely. In fact, you can have many administrators, and you can give them different levels of access, and you can use that for segregation of duties, for security purposes. So yeah, there are actually multiple roles. All right, so policies. There's different kinds of policies. You have configuration policies and compliance policies, and there's actually a lot of functionality in here. We really don't have time to go into all of it, but I'm going to just show you some quickly. So I'm creating a policy, and from this screen you can see I can create a policies for Android, for iOS, for Windows Phone, software policies, computer management policies, and then they have something called common mobile device settings. So we're going to do that. And these are settings that apply to pretty much all of the different mobile devices. You can go into specific policies for iOS and specific policies for Android, but we're going to look at this. I have the option of creating it with recommended settings. In fact, when you first create your account, Microsoft recommends you just click on this, set it up with recommended settings, and get that in place. But I'm going to go ahead and go with custom policy so you can see what some of the options are just for this one policy. So if you remember back with Office 365 MDM, I mean, you had some great capabilities there. Now, just with this one policy, you can see that you have a lot more. Again, some of the typical password settings, but beyond that, encryption, malware, system, dealing with documents and data, account synchronization, email, browser issues, app issues, gaming, device capabilities, and it goes on. So that's in just one policy setting. And I'd love to be able to spend an hour with you to show you all the capabilities, but I know we don't have time for all that. Kevin, how are we doing on time? Because I'd love to show them maybe just a couple more things before we get into EMS.
Yeah, we're a little bit ahead of time. You got about 2 minutes to show another feature.
Okay, great. So this is something that specifically comes with Intune. It's software updates for PCs, not for the iOS and Android, but specifically for Windows PCs. Here, under all updates, you can see all the updates that are available. And this system will let you know of all the devices that are enrolled in Intune. Which ones need this, which ones already have it installed. You'll get a number. You can actually click on that number and then look at the individual devices and then who owns those devices. And you can all see where it failed, who's pending to get it, meaning it's been scheduled, but it hasn't been installed yet. And of all the devices enrolled, how many have been scanned for this. And you can break up all the updates into criticals and security. You can look at mandatory updates and things like that. But I'm going to go click on Back and Overview here. because another great feature is configure updates. This is automatic approval settings, classifications, and products. So here you can choose at a very detailed level the kind of updates that you want the system to be aware of. You can have it select everything, but you can then go in and unselect specific categories and subcategories of types of update if they just don't apply to your organization. Because we've all seen, when we applied updates and there's a whole series of optional ones. You can control which one of those are even looked at. You can choose the classification level that get applied, and then you can choose automatic approval rules. And you can create different approval rules with different individuals or groups of users on who gets these updates. So you get, kind of a managed PC update solution. Now, you do have the ability to do this with third-party solutions. If you have third-party apps, you can actually upload the update to it, and it will scan those devices and let you know which ones have it and don't have it. And Kevin, do we still have a little time left, or should we? Do I need to jump back to?
No, I think we got to get to the next topic here.
Okay, so I'll just leave it with this. There's a lot more features and functionality around Intune, so we'd love to follow up with you later to kind of walk through all of those. All right, but let's get back to EMS. All right, so EMS, Enterprise Mobility Suite. First, I have to point out it's not a single product. It's 4 different products combined into one. So on the left-hand side, you see Microsoft Intune $6. EMS consists of Azure Azure Active Directory Premium, Microsoft Intune, Azure Rights Management, and Microsoft Advanced Threat Analytics. If you purchase these all separately, it would cost you $17.50 a month. If you buy them under the EMS license, they're all bundled, and it's $8.75 a month. So if you're getting Intune standalone for $6 a month, for $2.75 more, you can get the whole EMS suite. And again, when we looked at the solutions, Office 365 MDM, a great entry-level MDM solution with some key capabilities. Intune adds a lot more capabilities. Here you don't just get Intune, you get 3 additional solutions. So let's look at those. We already went through Intune briefly, but with EMS you also get Azure Active Directory Premium, and that comes with self-service password resets, which can help reduce calls to your Tier 1 help desk. You also get multi-factor authentication, and what that is, it's one additional step in authentication. So many of you are probably familiar with it, maybe when you've logged into your bank site, done banking online. It says we're going to send you a code to your mobile phone, and you then enter that text code into the web, and then it finishes the login process. Here you have the option of enabling that for the different users and for enabling it in different situations, for different apps like Office 365, or for when your global admins log in. Because if the only thing protecting someone from the outside from accessing a global admin account is just a username and password, you should add multi-factor authentication just to get that one extra level of protection. MFA, multi-factor authentication, there's 3 ways you can use it. There's the traditional, it sends a code to your phone and you type that in. It also can make a phone call. It can call you on the phone and in a computer voice, say, I'm calling about this, and press the pound key to continue. You can actually upload your own voice file if you don't want to hear the computer voice. And there's also an official app that you can use and just like press, authorized. I guess I'll just point out one more here is with the single sign-on. Single sign-on from Office 365, you can enable it for over 2,400 third-party software as a service solutions like Salesforce, like Box, like Dropbox. Documentum, that list goes on. But EMS, again, it's 3 whole entire additional solutions, so we can't go into everything, but Azure Rights Management, a very cool solution, very powerful. A lot of people at first say, you know, I don't know if we're really ready for it, and then once we show them all the capabilities, they get very excited. So I'm going to come back and show you a couple slides, and I might try to do a quick demo of Azure Rights Management. But to summarize it, where Intune dealt with configuration and compliance settings for devices, mobile and PC, Rights Management deals with kind of the same thing, but for content, securing files, no matter where they're sent and who they're sent to. So we'll come back and look at that quick. The last one, which is like the most exciting new enhancement to EMS, is the Advanced Threat Analytics. We've been working with a while in preview. It's now generally available. We've actually added a quick video that we're going to show at the end that kind of talks about Advanced Threat Analytics. But you know, very you know, awesome capabilities here. All right, so with Azure Rights Management, this works with Office 365, so with Exchange Online and SharePoint Online. It also can work with Exchange on-premise and SharePoint on-premise. And you can also work with Windows file servers. And it works by, you know what, I have screenshots because I was worried we wouldn't be able to connect. But, yep, we're still connected. All right. I'm just going to show it a very quick overview. So in Azure Active Directory, in my Azure Active Directory tenant, I go to Rights Management. And here I can create multiple policies. And let's just go ahead and create a new one. And again, this is all about putting controls around content. I give it a name. And it successfully created it. I'm going to go look at my templates. And I have rights, scope, and configuration. So first I can choose against Azure Active Directory which groups and which users each policy is applied to. Now I can also apply scope. Whoops. Here, let's go back. Okay, so this is what I want to show you. I select one or more groups or individuals in Azure Active Directory, and then I can assign the rights that are applied to this policy. Now I have some ready-to-go options: viewer, reviewer, co-author. I can look at mouse over the question mark to understand, you know, what this does. View, reply, reply all. If I want to see all of them, I can just go right to custom, and it shows me. So no matter, I can apply these types of rights and control them for any file type, whether it's viewing the content, saving the file, editing, printing, forwarding, replying, reply to all, I can now control those properties for any file type that I create or that I send out. And you can have policies automatically applied based on rules, and you can let people manually apply them. And this is great because this protects you from internal threats, it protects you from external threats, and even protects you from when people just make mistakes. They send it to the wrong John. If it's not the right John, they're not going to be able to view the file or view the email. So very powerful that you can now control all of those, so much so where we were actually working with the client, sharing files back and forth. They were setting, I was allowed to view it, but I wasn't allowed to share it with anyone. So I pulled the file that I wasn't allowed to share onto the webinar, and the webinar screen went blank because I was not allowed to show other people that file. So very, very cool stuff.
So Jason, if people want to, I know that there is a 30-day trial that they can try. They can do this just for certain people in their organization, let's say the IT department or a small group of trial users. It's not something that has to be pushed out to everyone for them to try it during that demo period or that 30-day trial period, right?
Correct. Absolutely not. You get a 30-day trial period with rights management and with Intune, and you can choose which users are part of your pilot, and you can make changes anytime for who's included. And speaking of change, one thing that happens a lot in rights management is, those rights are always changing. People are being added to groups, new groups are created, new uses, and it deals with change very well. You can make changes to the permissions at any time, and these permissions stay with the file no matter what. They leave your organization, they're used on different devices. Even if someone tries to rename the file, it doesn't, it stays under the control of the rights management solution, what they're allowed and not allowed to do. And even if someone goes offline, you can deal with that by letting people have offline access for a certain number of days before they have to have an online connection again. The reason is it's going to then check to see if changes have been made to the existing policy. And you can even have content expire on certain dates or after a certain number of days. So those old spy movies where, the contents of this letter are about to self-destruct, you actually can now really do that. The only thing it doesn't do is have graphical flames and smoke appear. So really a lot of great key capabilities here, which a lot of companies are just beginning to take advantage of. Now, I did want to show a quick some screenshots of an example. Now, rights management is very important. You can have rules automatically applied based on what's in files, who sent files, what folders they're in, things like that. But let's say you're just out in the field. This is an example of Alice. She's at a customer site. She's sending an email and a file attachment to Bob, who is at the customer site. She can quickly enforce restrictions on this, saying that the only thing Bob can do is view and edit. He's not going to be able to print, copy, or do anything else. She has the option of even having that expire, and she can be automatically emailed when Bob opens the document. She'll get the date and time. She can also be emailed if other people try to open it. She'll get their name and date and time as well. They still can't open it, but she can be notified. So the example here is, this is Bob. He got it. He's using an iPad, and he's only going to be able to view and edit. And once he authenticates, he'll have access to those files. But even if he sends them to someone else, he puts them on a flash drive, put them in Dropbox, no one else will be able to open those files without his credentials. So advanced threat analytics, a very new, cool and powerful enhancement to the EMS suite. Kevin, did you want to add anything with threat analytics? In fact, let's we embedded a movie. It's a short video file. It's like 1 minute and 40 seconds. I think does a really great job of showing the capabilities.
Okay,
so
well,
Kevin,
I'm going to grab the screen here so that they
okay.
can hear the video. So give me 2 seconds here. And here we go. Okay, so here we go.
Employees today use several devices across a variety of locations to access a constantly changing set of resources. This complex activity creates a blind spot in user behavior, opening up your network for malicious attackers. That's why 76% of attacks stem from compromised user credentials. Take John, for instance. He normally uses his laptop to access files, SharePoint sites, and HR systems. But John's credentials have been stolen, and the attacker has used them to access other internal computers, one of which stored credentials for high-privilege accounts. Now the attacker has access to sensitive data, but you'll probably catch him quickly, right? Wrong. Because of the user behavior blind spot, attackers have access to networks for a median of 243 days before they're discovered. That's why we're introducing Microsoft Advanced Threat Analytics. Our intelligent technology helps you adapt to the changing nature of cybersecurity threats. By analyzing entity behavior, we can help you identify advanced targeted attacks. Setup is simple. There's no need to create rules, baselines, or thresholds. Once suspicious activity is detected, our intuitive attack timeline lets you see exactly what happened and when, helping you quickly identify the real threats to your network. Microsoft Advanced Threat Analytics helps you reduce the noise and focus on what's important.
So as you can,
some great.
Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say some great capabilities there. We're very excited that it's finally out of preview and generally available.
And, one thing that, MessageOps has really built a methodology, and this is a time-tested, proven methodology to help you adopt this mobile device strategy, whether it's the one that's built into Office 365, which, like Jason told you, is just the entry level, and then you can move into either the Intune or go all the way into the EMS suite of products. And what MessageOps can do is help you educate you on what's available to you individually, and that's, we'd love to take, like Jason said, an hour on each one of the topics. We really don't have that, but what we want to do is sit down and talk to you, educate you on what's available to you today, what you can take advantage of without making huge investments, do some analysis of your environment, find out which applications are most dangerous, where the best place is to start. We have workshops that will not only help you define your policies, but what devices you have in your environment, what's the best way to manage them. Then, like Jason said, especially in that pilot phase or in that 30-day trial phase, you can do a proof of concept. Make sure that this is actually doing what's been explained to you, and then move into a pilot environment that can grow into production. So as you can see, it's really something that, first of all, there's not a huge investment. Second of all, it actually does secure the data, even if it isn't on devices that are owned by the corporation. This is just a quick matrix to show you what's available from real basic, the Exchange ActiveSync that's built into most of the mobile devices out there, what advanced features you get when you move into the MDM for Office 365, and then what Intune covers from some of the features that are available. And to be honest with you, with EMS, with the 3 new enhancements that they've made to it, the matrix would be way too long. It would take 4 different slides to show you, but that's why we're here, to help you figure out which parts are most important to you. So really, the next steps are give us a call here at MessageOps. We'll schedule a one-on-one appointment with you and help you take advantage of what you're already paying for. We'll also set up, if you need it, free trials for the Intune and EMS and find out which really people in your environment would best be suited for that POC for the 30-day trial. There's also on MessageOpsMobility.com, there is an EMS challenge. It's a small little quiz that you can take that really will give you a much better idea of which features best fit your needs. Jason, did I miss anything there?
No, the only thing I would add, and what Kevin said earlier is, I mean, if you have Office 365, I mean, you can go and start creating policies using Office 365 MDM, but if you have any questions or want any help with that, we're here to help you do that. Or if you want to start investigating, the additional features that Intune brings, or the whole EMS suite, we can help you there too. And just one thing comes to mind. I know that we completed a security a survey recently. I think over 400 like CIOs, CTOs, director of IT participated in it, about kind of mobile device practices, security practices. We'd love to get you a copy of that. So if you want to get in touch with us, we can make sure that you get a copy of that report. It's very interesting to understand like where people are at now, and you can also figure out how you compare to other organizations.
And since you registered for the webinar, we will be sending out a copy of the presentation. We'll also be sending you a link to a playback within the next couple of days, just in case there's someone else that missed the webinar and would like to see it in a playback mode. We want to thank you very much. Jason, thank you for participating in the webinar, and everyone have a great day.
Yes, thanks everyone. Take care.